And go ahead and connect to my database. So I right click on it. Now we looked at this last time where we created this PLSQL program. Set server output on, the force number 10.2, mass is number 10.2, acceleration, same thing. Num1 is an integer. Except for I don't think num1 had anything to do with the program. And then after we declared those, we set mass equal to 5, acceleration equals 7, and the force equal to mass times acceleration, and then output our results. And this was just playing right here. And then if I ran that, total force is 35. Now the question was, Dawson had it under procedures. How do we create it over here? So I'm going to show that. So after you expand procedures here, you see the ones you have. I have my filter on for my and then percent. So as long as I start them all with my, then it works. Then I'll right click and choose new procedure. I call it my force, since we're calculating the force. Click OK. And comes up with this. The begin is the beginning area for the procedure, and this is the ending for it. So inside here is where we'll put our declare. And I played with this to get it in the right order. So let's see. Bring all those in. Then we'll have our begin for our program. And then we have our end for our program also. Just compile that, make sure it's counter in when counter in the following. Bring case. Okay. Could be because I don't have any code in yet. We'll see. Let's bring all that in. And let me compile it. Okay, doesn't feel like I got any errors that time. And then if I ran it and click OK, it tells us the force is 35. So again, to summarize it, it put the begin here for the procedure. It put the end here for the procedure. Our actual program is contained within here, where I put the declare and I have those declared, and then I have my begin and end for my code. Questions on that? Now, the one thing I haven't figured out on that, there's multiple things I haven't figured out, but I cannot put this set server output on inside that procedure frame amount of money. Now, it could be because it's actually a procedure contained within the database, is why I can't do that. But I've tried copying that and pasting it in multiple places in here, and I just can't get it to take. Now you notice over here we got the my force here, so this will be part of our database, so it'll stay here from here on out. We also looked at putting a procedure in. So procedure like this. Let me copy all that. Actually, this is the only thing I want to copy. This I haven't experimented with. Partially recognized rules. Calculate force. I'm just curious if this will work. I may have to play with that. Let's see. Encounter dissimilar check one of the following. I don't know. I'll play with that one. See, the problem is that I was declaring a procedure here when we already had it contained within another procedure. I was wondering what it would do. I wonder if I could put it up above this one. Probably not, but let's see. Create or replace non-additionable procedure. Yeah, I'll have to play that one. Okay, so back to our test here. This is where we left off last time, where we created a procedure and we called it a procedure. Now we're going to look at some different programming constructs today. And first one we'll consider is the if statement. Oh, there's another thing I haven't figured out. Remember how we put this here to prompt us for the mass and acceleration? Such if I run that. Hmm. Line 28. goes. Had an error before it. It pops up for those with those boxes. And it's got another issue. Oh, that's back to my calculate force. Let me close that. I got rid of add numbers. There we go. Now we're back to where we were. Okay, so let me run it now. I was playing this morning. I just didn't reset it. And multiplies this together gives us 12. Okay, so now let's take a look at the, and I got just the different constructs. I'm going to go through the if-then combination. So I've calculated force up here, and I indicate what the force was. I'll say if. Now this is a conditional statement. This would be if I'm hungry, I'll go eat. If I need to stop, I'll apply my brakes. So same idea that we do in real life is what we do with an if statement. And here we put it in terms of like maybe a number. So if the force is less than 30, then I'll do something. End if. See dbms output dot put line less than 30. So if I ran this, put in 3, put in 4, less than 30 must be declared. Single quotes. We're not in C or C++. There we go. Let's try that again. So 3, 4 tells me less than 30. So if I want to do like a grade program here, I'm going to get 3 grades, and assuming out of 100 points. So I'll come up here, test 1, test 2, test 3, and the average. Calculate grades. So down here, I'm going to say input. Actually, I don't need those if I'm going to have this, but anyway, this would be grade 1. Grade 1. Got 2 and 3. 2 and 3. And I'm going to call calculate grades. Like that. So that's going to call this. So I'm going to say our average is going to equal to, inside of parentheses, grade 1 plus grade 2 plus grade 3 divided by 3. Now it shouldn't be an integer because I'm going to have decimals. So I'll change it to real. And I'll print out that the grade was an average. Well, first, let's see if that's working. Grade 70, 80, 92. And grade 3 must be declared. Didn't I declare them? Grade. Let's try it again. Grade, grade, grade. $70, $82, $91. And it comes back to my grade was 81. Try it again. 100, 100, 99. Okay, that's better. I want to make sure my decimals was working versus me just picking three numbers. Luckily, that came up with an integer as the average. Is there any questions on that first part? So that's calculating the average. And we're bringing in those three numbers. And then calling calculate grades, which comes up here and calls this. Okay, nothing new there. What we want to add on from last time is we want our if statement here. If our average is less than or equal to 90, then I want to do a dbms underscore output dot put line. You got an A. Less than or equal to. Try it again. Greater than or equal to. Okay, and then our index. Now notice we put a semicolon here, but no semicolon up here. And so if I run that, 92, 91, 100, says you got an A. Well, we want to expand this. We've already shown a couple examples now of the if then, but you can have more criteria on here. No, it doesn't automatically do it. The fact that I declare them as real is the reason why I did that. I get confused myself. That's why I have my little cheat sheet here. It's just it's not what I'm coding here, but it tells me the syntax. It would not have worked. Well, it might have worked, but it might have rounded or truncated. I'm not sure which it would have done. Okay. Well, we can, like in other programming languages, have our if statement, then you can have an else go along with it. And dbms output dot put line, you did not get an A. Notice there's no semicolon after the then, no semicolon after the else, but there is one after the end if. Now, unlike other languages, Other languages, well, let me run this first and then I'll talk about that. Okay, so put 33 in, 44, 22. It says you did not get an A. Unlike other languages you got an else there, and then you can do another if statement here. And you might be able to do that here with a little bit of manipulation. But they got a special construct if you want to check for B's, C's, D's, and F's and so forth. It's an else if. So else if the average is greater than or equal to 80, then dbms output dot put line, you got a B. Else if average is greater than or equal to 70, then dbms output dot put line, you got a C. What did I do wrong? Oh, the E. Else if average is greater than or equal to 60, then dbms output dot put line, you got a D. You can still have an else down here. You didn't get A, B, C, or D, that means you got an F. Now, if you've never had a programming class before, how you interpret this is it comes up here and calculates the average. The parentheses around a grade 1 plus grade 2 plus grade 3 means I add those together first, then divide by 3. Then it comes down here, and it's taking the value of average and seeing if it's greater than or equal to 90. If it is, it will run this line of code here. And then after it gets done running that line of code, it'll come down and drop to the after the end if. If this is not true, it comes down here and checks if it's greater than or equal to 80. If it's greater than or equal to 80, it does this line of code and then drops down after the end if. And so on. If that's not true, it comes down here, does this, checks that, checks this. And then the else is when none of the above is true, that's when it runs the else. Now this is called a Boolean expression here, a Boolean condition. Boolean means it returns true or false. Questions on the if else, else if structures? This next topic, I almost dread to even talk about. This is controlling the flow of your code. Now I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna create a new procedure. So procedure and spaghetti is I'm creating a new one, but it doesn't like something. Let's see. Grade 1 equals 3. Oops. Okay, I didn't like the fact I didn't have any code in there. Yeah, we're creating a new procedure. I don't know if I spelled it right or not, but we'll go with that. Copy that. I'll come down here and I'm going to comment out calculate grades because I don't want to run it anymore. I'm gonna run spaghetti. And I never have wrote one of these um, in PLSQL. So I'm just going off an example here. So we'll see how it goes. Let's see if grade 1 is equal to 3, then I'll put my end F here. Go to the end. Grade 1 is equal to 5. And then down here, I'm going to print dbms output dot put line. Grade 1 was grade 1. Test it, and then I'll explain it if it works. Put underscore line. What am I doing? That's better. It says grade 1 was 3. This is a go-to statement. Probably most of you have never seen this before. Programming languages have taken good programming languages have taken it out, and books don't oftentimes even put it in there for any programming languages. What this does is it comes down here and sets grade 1 equal to 3, and this checks to see if grade 1 is equal to 3. Now notice, what do we have here? We have an equals, don't we? Well, let's put a 5 here. No, 5. That's what I have down below. 7. I put 7 and run it. And got some values there. It tells me grade 1 was 5. What does an equals mean in an if statement in other languages? Um, Actually, in most programming languages, it's an assignment operator. If you were going to do this in Java or C or C++ or any other programming language on the planet, I shouldn't say that, but because I'm sure there's some that do use the equals. I think Visual Basic might. Grade 1 is equal to 7. That's how they set it. How they check it is that they say if grade 1 is equal 3. That's how Java checks it. That's how C does JavaScript. Remember JavaScript? It does equals. Um, but this does 1 equals. You have to have double equals for an if statement. You don't need that in PLSQL. So you'll probably get that confused if you've programmed in C# or any other language. You'll put equals there. So just keep an eye out for that. I think it'll give you an error if you put equals. See how I put the little red squiggler into there? So not hard to know he did something wrong there. But anyway, I digress. Um, let's say it's equal to 7, or set it back to 3. It's equal to 3, comes down here, checks. This returns true or false. Since it's true, it comes down to this go to. Now, a go to will then go to this label. So the program jumps down here, skips everything in between, and goes down to this label here, and then continues running. This is referred to as spaghetti code. When you're using labels and go-tos, it's just not good. You can easily write loops. It's hard to follow, and so forth. It's not structured programming. That makes sense of what the go-to does? I could put an if statement down here. If grade 1 equals 3, then go to the beginning. By the way, you can call a label whatever you want. It doesn't have to be uppercase either. Sad to say, this is how I was programming back in the late 80s. What do you think this would do, this bit of code? Loop forever, exactly. Because it hit this, it set this equal to 3, it checked to see if this is equal to 3, it is, so go to the end. It come down here, it print that out. It would check to see if it's equal to 3, and it still is, so go back to the beginning, so go back to here. And then go through and do that forever. Maybe even lock up my little database instance I have running here. I don't know. Yeah, if I try to run it, it might. Yeah, I never have tried writing an infinite loop in this. In other languages, it handles it pretty good. You can kill it. Let's just try it. Because I just saved everything. Saved again. Another time. Be on the safe side. Okay. 3, 4, 5. Or I could have an error. Um, line 50. The counter to symbol into file when expecting one of the following. What did I do wrong? I got an error somewhere up here. Go to the beginning, semicolon. Oh, I don't got an end if. Save it. Oh, buffer overflow. It was an infinite loop. Um, I don't know what the overflow is referring to. It almost acts like it buffers all of the DBMS outputs before it sends it to the screen. That's what that implication is there. Because it did not, I expected to see grade 1 was 3, grade 1 was 3, grade 1 was 3 over and over. So that actually handled it pretty good. It's pleasing. But anyway, poor programming. If you can, they have constructs in here like a while and so forth. So if you want to do looping, you do looping the correct way. You don't use go-tos and labels. But I showed it to you so that if you ever do need to use it, then it's there. Okay, that was the go-to. Um, Now looping. There's a variety of loops that you can do. So let's write a simple loop. Procedure simple loop is begin, end, and I'm gonna call simple loop down here. I guess I ought to comment these out. There we go. That way it won't keep asking me to do those. Simple loop. And I'll do a loop and then an end loop. Remember case, it can be lowercase, uppercase, whatever. And then I'm going to do something in here. Maybe I'm going to add all the numbers from 1 to 300 or 1 to 5. Something I can check. Let's see, where did I put the declare here? I think I put the declare here. Some enter. Outline constraint. I may have to put it up above. Let's try to put it here. Sum equals sum plus counter. And here I'll set sum colon equal to 0. And sum must be a reserved word. So the sum, the sum, the sum. And counter integer. And I'll set the counter equal to 1 here. Now, what do you think would eventually happen on this? Assuming I don't have errors. Yeah. So I'm assuming it overload the integer at some point. It's assuming I don't have errors. I was dreaming. Line 29, counter symbol 29. Okay. Well, let me declare them up above. Cut. Okay, then get rid of those. And get rid of this. Okay, so save everything, run it. End loop. Line 27. That's what it's telling me. I'm sitting here, it's like counter to symbol space. See, I'm on line 27 at that begin. Where I'm seeing the line number at is in the bottom right hand corner here. It's pretty small. It says line 27, column 6. Oh, yeah, but I mean, I'm at column 6 now. Column 12 is over here, and there's nothing over there. Maybe let's get rid of that. Delete that. Let's try that. Still the same issue. I put procedure, name is, and then begin. I'll put these up here. It doesn't look like I screwed up anything in declare. Procedure, name is. What'd you say? These sales, Austin? Oh, no, it's saying expected it was what's inside is a space. So they're saying encountered a symbol space when expecting one of the following. Um, Strange. Maybe the fact that it's lowercase, maybe that matters. Simple loop. Well, that can't be it. Hmm. Well, shouldn't I use uppercase up here in spaghetti? I did where? Oh, this here? Well, that's the start of my main program, and so that's okay that I have a begin and end there. Hmm. Let me try to call spaghetti. Make sure something else isn't broke. Something else is broke. Okay. It is, isn't it? Line 27. That's easy. Let's get rid of it. Okay, so buffer overflow. So that's okay. So let me put it back now. The problem's definitely here. Everything else is fine. Runs without it. Um, Maybe it's because I can't write an infinite loop with this. Maybe that's it. Okay, so let me put an if statement in here then. The if I wouldn't think it'd be that smart, but maybe it is. If the sum is greater than 5, then exit end if. Still at line 27. Still at the begin. Change it to sloop. Um, Could be. You mean make this all lowercase? Wouldn't think so. Oh well, let me get rid of all that except for this. This will answer whether your question whether or not. Okay. So nothing's wrong there. It ran it. There's nothing printed, but um, slowly get rid of things. Oops. Space. There it is, right in front of me. Colon space equals. Okay. Well, I guess it lies about what error it was on, line it was on. That's the best it could do, I guess. It told me the error was hit up here when it was really at this line. Oh, okay. Let's run it now. Okay, so ran fine. I got rid of the space. Let me do a dbms output dot put line the sum and run this. And this is looping from we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. I think it's just going to be one of these days where nothing I write works. Um, Okay, no, that's what I wanted. I haven't read a basic loop like this forever. Yeah, that's correct. So the way the loop works is it runs this way, runs everything inside of here, hits the end loop, comes back up here, and just continue the same process. It's only unless you have an exit in there is what causes it to exit. Now you can, instead of doing it that way, put something, let's see if I can remember the syntax. Exit when the sum is greater than 5. See if I got that right. Should have compiled it. See how it still worked? So the exit when kind of combines an if statement with the exit. So there's one other programming language that does that, loop until and then so forth. But that's one looping construct. Now it does have normal ones too, so don't think it doesn't. Let's take a look at a for loop now. Okay, so procedure for example is begin end. What if I can put a declare in here now that I found my space issue? Tsum, it's integer, and tcount, integer. Tsum colon equal 0. It doesn't like that. Oh well. Okay, so I'm going to set the sum equal to 0. Now the for loop is a little bit different in PLSQL. Let's see, for, and then we got our loop index. So for counter in 1, and I'm going to add up all numbers from 1 to 5. And it ends with an end for end loop. Oops, I need a loop. And then an end loop. End loop. Okay, so the sum is equal to the sum plus counter. And down here, dbms output dot put line. Sum is, and concatenate the sum. I need to call for example. Sum is 15. 5, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yep, that's correct. How a for loop works, if you've never seen one before, is it comes down here. Of course, I set this back to equal to 0. The for counter in 1 to 5, dot dot 5. And I think this is like Python. But anyway, it sets counter equal to 1 initially. Comes down here, hits a loop, The loop is kind of what it's going to keep doing over and over. Comes down here, counter is equal to 1. So it takes the old value of the sum, which is 0, it adds 1, 0 plus 1 is 1, and reassigns it to the sum. Hits the end loop, which tells it to come back up here. Now it's going to set the counter to the next value, which is 2. So then it comes down here, it's equal to 2, comes up here, sets the counter to the next one, 3. Sets equal 3, 4, and then up here it sets equal to 5. And that's the last one it actually does, because we're saying to just go from 1 to 5. Well, I don't see there is a reverse feature here. But I don't see a step feature, which is kind of a bad thing. So let me, about out of time, but let me just Google that real quick. SQL for loop step. Lower bound dot upper bound. 1 to 5. Loop. Loop. Control F. Step. Oh, that's. I guess I don't have a step feature. You have to do it kind of a hokey way. See how they got in this example, they have counter going from 1 to 5, and they're taking their counter and multiplying it times this increase. So 1 times 2 is 2, 2 times 2 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 2 is 6, 4 times 2 is 8, 5 times 2 is 10. So that's what's causing it to go by 2s. And then this is what you can actually use in your calculation. It's still just looping from 1 to 5, though. It's not meant to have everything that a regular program language is going to have. Now, the project I put out there is I want you to write a PLSQL program and have a procedure that multiplies the numbers from 1 to 7. So nothing too exciting. You just get to play with another procedure and a for loop, and then change it to do multiplication. Now, if you can't get it to work, like if it's not working, put DBMS outputs in there to see what's going on. So that's what you could put in here. DBMS output dot put line, and you could print the value of like counter, so you can see what's happening at counter. Now, it's probably beneficial if you put too many of those in there that you put a string in front of it and concatenate them together like that. And so then when I ran it, I can see counters looping from 1 to 5. So that's a nice debugging feature to just go ahead and put that in there. So, questions on anything? Internet connection's unstable. Yeah, this morning it was completely down. Well, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording then. Oops, I went over time.